All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Today is Thursday, October the 5th, 2023. And I want to welcome you to the Ramonepreston Show. If you're coming on, joining us live, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know on this beautiful Thursday, October the 5th, the Ramonepreston Show is live. I am here, your boy, your host, Ramonepreston, my squad. We're all here live in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta, and we're super excited about today's show. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know that the Ramonepreston Show is live. And don't forget to put in the comments what city you're watching the Ramonepreston Show from. Please be kind enough to put in the comments what city you're watching the show from. I want to say good afternoon, happy Thursday. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. I am your host, Ramonepreston. Every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Ramonepreston Show, live from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. We show up to give you information, to share with you things that could help you properly start, properly structure, and properly scale your business to 6-7 figures and beyond. So all y'all that are entrepreneurs, small business owners, solopreneurs, you solo, dolo, you doing everything you need to do every day to take your business to the next level. Today is going to be an awesome show. It's really based on a very common question that I get from a lot of people, not just students and mentees and clients, but just random people who send me a lot of messages through inboxes, and they comment on our posts. And a lot of people are asking me about holding companies. Of course, one of the reasons why is because we have a lot of information and content that we put out about holding companies. That's one of the main things we do here at Ramonepreston Enterprises. We have corporate services where we set up holding companies and LLCs for people. We also have educational courses and programs to mentor and coach people on how to start them and set them up and structure them and use them and get the best out of them. So a holding company is something that I talk a lot about, and the concept behind the holding company is something that I talk a lot about. I think most of the people that do business with us, whether they are students in our online educational program, whether they're clients or mentees in our coaching program, and just people who use us for corporate services, I think most people who do business with us here at Ramonepreston Enterprises are doing business with us because they want to know more about holding companies. They want to set their holding companies up, and they want to make sure that they have their business put together the right way. So on today's show, I'm going to be answering a very common question. I reworded the question so that it can make sense to me and you. So the question today that we're going to be answering is the question about a holding company. It's a question about starting a holding company. So if you've ever wondered what a holding company is, how a holding company works, or should you have a holding company, hopefully I'll be able to answer those questions for you and give you a little more insight into the importance of having a holding company. So is it best to start a holding company? Is it best to start a holding company? That's a very common question that I get. And trust me, when I say it's a common question, I'm talking about, I probably get people asking me this question at least every other day, if not every day. I mean, like literally every day I check my inbox or the comments on my social media platforms or emails, or if people are calling us, sending us messages. Most of the times people are asking me questions about holding companies. So the question today, is it best to start a holding company? Is it best to start a holding company? Here's what my answer is. If you've ever asked the question, is it best to start a holding company? My answer to you is yes. Here's the answer right here. Yes. But it's an if. All right? Yes, but it's an if. So if you've ever wondered, should you start a holding company, or is it best to start a holding company? Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, you should start a holding company. Yes, it's best to start a holding company. But again, with my yes, I'm going to put an if. There are a few ifs. And so I'm going to talk about at least three of the ifs when it comes to this answer. Because I personally believe, and I know because I'm proof of it, and I have a lot of students and clients and mentees who have proven it too. I know without a shadow of a doubt that having a holding company is by far the best way to structure your business, your corporation, your enterprise. All right. So the question, is it best to start a holding company? My answer is yes. Yes, yes, it is best. So if you were asking the question, should you start a holding company? I answered it. Yes, you should start a holding company. And I'm telling you, not only should you start a holding company, but it is the best way to start a business. Even if you just have a product or service you want to sell or something you want to offer in the marketplace, I'm still telling you that it's still best to start the holding company first. And I'm going to explain to you why I say it. So again, is it best to start a holding company? Yes. If. What are the three ifs? Number one, if you want to build wealth. If you want to build wealth, like if you want to be rich, if you really want to be rich, if you want to build a enterprise that makes a lot of money, if you want to create a legacy, I'm going to tell you it's best to start a holding company, because a holding company becomes like the house or the main umbrella or parent company to this wealth building enterprise. Most entrepreneurs, when they think about starting a business, they think about entities like LLCs, but most of the times they're not thinking about a holding company. They're not thinking about starting a parent company. A lot of times when you grow your business, you end up starting a parent company down the line, because now you got money, now you want to diversify, now you want to expand and do bigger things because you're making money. But I recommend my students and clients do it in the beginning. It's only going to cost you a little bit of money. It's only going to cost you a little bit of time. Just learn the ins and outs of it now, figure it out. And for most entrepreneurs, it makes it better for you, because if you are like me, I'm one of those entrepreneurs. I want to know what's going on. I don't want people giving me bits and pieces of information. You know, when you talk to somebody about something like a holding company, they might say, oh, don't worry about that right now. You know, wait until you get to $1 million. I don't want to wait till I get to $1 million. If I'm broke, I still want to know what that process looks like and why I should have it, so I can have some motivation. I can have some inspiration. I can have an incentive or a reason to grow and to expand and move forward. That's how I am. And guess what? I found out from working with entrepreneurs every day, a lot of entrepreneurs are that way. So the question that we're answering, is it best to start a holding company? My answer is yes. My answer is yes. Yes, if number one, you want to build wealth. Because again, all of the wealthy companies and enterprises and organizations in the world, I won't say all of them, but most of them, especially most of the very well-known enterprises and corporations and national and global organizations, I'll be safe to say most of them are holding companies. Okay? JP Morgan, even Amazon operates like a holding company. Berkshire Hathaway, Johnson & Johnson or SC Johnson, a lot of the major banks, they operate as holding companies, real estate companies, the major real estate brokerage firms. Like most of today's major global companies, they operate as holding companies. Sam's Club and Walmart, they're very familiar companies. They're under Walton Enterprises, which is a holding company. Bill Gates, he has a holding company. Like most people have holding companies. We had Google, we had YouTube. They came under a holding company. They created a new one called Alphabet, and they put Google and YouTube under it. Alphabet is a holding company. You got WhatsApp that Mark Zuckerberg owns, Instagram, Facebook, and a couple other ones. They're all under Meta, which is a type of holding company. So my point is, if you want to build wealth, even as a solopreneur, even as a small business owner, even as an entrepreneur just trying to figure out the business game, most people might tell you, don't worry about the holding company. But what I found in my business experience and in my consulting and coaching experience is when you tell someone to wait and not to focus on something that they have an idea of, it makes them want to know more about it. So when you give people information and you can show them the bigger picture, a lot of times it incentivizes them, it inspires them and motivates them. One of my top, maybe 10 books that I've ever read, and I probably read it a couple times, is still one of my top 10 favorites, is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And one of his habits is to begin with the end in mind, meaning that you should be able to see the bigger picture. You should be able to get to the light at the end of the tunnel and kind of reverse engineer back to today. So again, a lot of times people will tell you, don't set up no holding company. Don't concern yourself with extra fees with the Secretary of State, having extra bank accounts and all that paperwork and stuff. For me, I would rather have that if I understand how powerful the concept is, having a multi-entity concept. So again, my first reason why I say yes to it being best to start a holding company is if you want to build wealth. All right. So if you got into business, or if you're getting into business and you want to build wealth, you want to be rich, you want to create a legacy, I'm going to tell you it's best to start a holding company. Now, if you've already started an LLC, an operating LLC, and you selling products and offering services from that LLC, you can still set up a holding company. And at some point, you can just transfer the ownership of the current LLC under the umbrella of the new holding company. Okay? So I would say yes. All right. Number 2, is it best to start a holding company? Yes, if you want to leverage your position as a CEO and an asset manager. And these are two positions that most entrepreneurs don't pay attention to. So it is best to start a holding company if you want to leverage your position as a CEO and your position as an asset manager. Why is that important? And how does that make sense to you? Well, when you set up a holding company and it's the parent company, and then you have your operating company under it. So let's say this is you, and you have your holding company here, and then you have your operating company here. Instead of the operating company being directly under you, you have it directly under the holding company. That is a better position for you as a CEO. You're now able to leverage your position as the CEO. Does that make sense? You can leverage your position. How do you leverage your position? Because you're not directly under the operating company, even though you still might have to wake up every day and sell the products and provide the services. But because you ain't directly under it, you're able to start leveraging your ability as a CEO who's running an enterprise as opposed to somebody who's just operating a business. But you can also leverage your position as an asset manager because the fact that you have two entities, one that you own and one that owns another one, that means this is an asset. The operating company becomes an asset. So, for example, if you want to start a plumbing company or a landscape company or a tree trimming company or a carpet cleaning company or whatever type of company it is, or a rental car company or Airbnb company, whatever the business is, that business, if it's not owned by you, but it's owned by your holding company, and you're actually managing the holding company that manages the other companies, you are essentially putting yourself in the best position to be a CEO and an asset manager. Now, if you compound that and add that with getting education, hanging around people like me in our community, because we teach these principles and concepts, we show people how to become real CEOs and asset managers and how to build real structures and systems and processes, that's the ultimate leverage. So this is the second reason why I would say it is best to start a holding company. Number 3, why is it best to start a holding company? Or is it best? Yes, it is best if, number 3, you want to maximize, your corporate protection, your corporate production, and your corporate purchasing power. So I call this is like 3 of the, I have about 4 or 5 P's, but I'm just giving you 3. So is it best to start a holding company? Yes, if, number 1, you want to build wealth. Number 2, yes, if you want to leverage your position as a CEO and an asset manager. And number 3, yes, if you want to maximize your corporate protection. That's the 3 P's, protection. How do you maximize your corporate protection? Well, the fact that you are protected by this LLC and that LLC, that's like the ultimate protection. And you can protect other assets. So like, for example, if I have intellectual property, IP, or if I have copyrights, or if I have trademarks, whatever the things are that I own, if my holding company owns intellectual property or copyrights or trademarks, I can protect it by giving the ownership to my holding company, and then I can just license it to my other company or to another company outside of my company. I can start maximizing my protection because now I can start layering my assets and breaking it up so that I can start making money off different aspects of my assets. Like I said, I have intellectual property. So think about the intellectual property that I own. Everything that I teach is intellectual property. So I can take my intellectual property, give the ownership of it to my holding company, but then I can let my holding company license it out to other companies, to other schools, to my university. I can license it out. I can also put it in the form of a book. I can also create events and workshops and boot camps. I can create programs to give people access to the information. So what am I doing? I'm literally maximizing my protection while being able to monetize and make money from assets that my holding company owns. So if you want to maximize your corporate protection, also it's best to start a holding company if you want to maximize your corporate production. I just explained to you, now I can be more productive because I can have a service-based business, I can have a product-based business, and I can just have a business that just houses assets and intellectual assets and things that I can create other top-tier, high-ticket, high-level programs, products, and services. Everything that I'm telling you, I do it every day in my business. I do it every day throughout my enterprise. That's why I can have so much confidence to teach these principles and concepts the way I do, because it works for me. And then the other P is if you want to maximize your corporate purchasing power. Now, I don't like to make no guarantees to say if you own a multi-entity structure that you're going to be able to take all those entities and go to the bank and get funding and get working capital and get loans. I don't guarantee that. Nobody can guarantee that. It's really not even realistic. But what I can say is if you have a corporate structure set up where you have multiple entities under a main entity, and if you take the advice that I give you by creating activities and relationships within your enterprise through licensing and through the intellectual assets that you have and through certain business relationships that you can create within your enterprise, if you do that and keep a paper trail, and if you properly track the activities of all these things that you're doing every day, what will happen is it will give you more purchasing power, because when you do go to banks and go to institutions, you got paperwork, you got a paper trail, you got history, you got credibility, you have business activity. A lot of times people just think, oh, I'm gonna just set up 3 LLCs and I'm gonna just go to the bank with all 3 of these LLCs. I'm not saying it hasn't happened for people, but what I'm saying is the likelihood of it happening to you just because it happened to somebody else is not realistic, because that other person may have had a good credit score and they may have been able to be the personal guarantor for all 3 of those entities. You don't know all the details. You don't know how it works. But what I can say is, if you set up a holding company and you set up entities under that holding company and you put the right systems and processes in place, you will have a higher likelihood and chance of getting funding and getting some type of credit or loan than you would if you didn't do all of that. So again, today's show is all about, is it best to start a holding company? This is a very common question I get. And my answer to you, if you were wondering, is it best to start a holding company, is yes. Yes, it is best. If number one, you want to build wealth. Because if you want to build wealth, even if you don't do a holding company at first and you just have a business that's out there making money, at some point in your wealth building, you're going to sit down with a financial advisor or some type of consultant or someone who understands tax strategies and wealth building, and they're going to tell you, you need to set up a different type of structure, whether it's a trust or a holding company. They're going to tell you to restructure it. You're not going to just be operating the way you operate with one business. So I'm saying, even in the beginning, you should do it right the first time so that you don't have to come back around and redo it when you get going. So number one, yes, if you want to build wealth. It's best to start a holding company if you want to leverage your position as a CEO and an asset manager. I like to tell people a lot of times, when you set up an entity structure with a holding company and let's say one other LLC as an operating company, if for nothing else, while you're learning, you get to practice being a CEO and an asset manager, something most entrepreneurs don't understand. Just because you got the word CEO or the acronym CEO on your business cards or on your website and landing page, it don't mean you really know what a CEO is. I'll go as far as to say most people who got CEO on their card or on their landing page and website, they don't even know what it means to be a CEO. They don't even know how to run an actual business system. All right. So having a holding company with other entities under it, it allows you to leverage your position as the CEO and as an asset manager. Because remember, you got a holding company that you own, and your holding company owns other companies or other assets that you start acquiring and accumulating. You're now managing assets. And that's something very important for all of you as entrepreneurs, especially as we move forward into the next few years, because a lot of baby boomers are leaving the marketplace. They're retiring, they selling their businesses, they want to transfer their assets, and it's like a business to business, a B2B transfer of wealth that's taking place now, and it's going to continue to keep trending that way. And if you can learn how to leverage your position as a CEO and an asset manager, you can get in on what's happening right now. Okay, it's happening right now. All right, so is it best to start a holding company? Yes, if number three, you want to maximize your corporate protection. If you want to stack your protection up in a very strategic and creative way, you want a holding company. If you want to maximize your production, if you want to take like one asset, whether it's intellectual property, a trademark, maybe it's a proprietary process or system you have or something. If you want to maximize it, and you have a multiple entity structure, it's easier to do that because now you can maximize your production, and at some point you'll be able to maximize your purchasing power. So for all of you that are watching today, if you don't have a holding company, but you believe, having a holding company is important to you, we have courses to show you how to start and structure your own if you want to do it yourself. We offer corporate services in our corporate services division, meaning that we can set up holding companies for you if that's something you want to do, or maybe you just want to learn all the ins and outs of how to literally run your own organizational enterprise. That's one of the reasons why I put this Millionaire Mentorship program together, because it took me a long time to figure out how to engineer $1 million business. It took me a long time to figure that out. It took me a lot of time. I mean, I hear people say, in order for you to be a master at something, you got to put 10,000 hours in. Listen, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 20 years. I don't know how many thousands of hours I put in to get to where I'm at now. But what I do know is, if you engineer your business correctly, it's no different than engineering a high-rise building. You can't get an engineer to come in and put a high-rise building together and they have a mindset for a ranch house or a 2-story house, but you want a high-rise built. Well, it's the same way with business. If you want to be financially free and have a business that generates 6 figures, 7 figures or more, you got to engineer the doggone thing. Otherwise, you're going to just be waking up every day like I used to when I first got started as an entrepreneur. And because I was a hustler, I was a grinder, I was a go-getter, I was just like throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping it stuck. But you can't build a long-term business like that. And I had to learn that quick, because entrepreneurship was my full-time job. I didn't have a job to go to work to. I didn't clock in nowhere. I didn't have anything to fall back on. So I had to figure this out. And so we put this Millionaire Mentorship program together to give you 1 year so that we can educate you, coach you, give you workshops and boot camps to help you build and engineer $1 million enterprise. And again, if you don't want to be financially free, if you don't want to be a millionaire, if you don't want to use a business system to actually create that, then what I'm saying to you, it's not going to make sense. But if you are an entrepreneur, or you want to be, and you know you don't understand the ins and outs, you don't understand structure, you don't understand systems and processes, you don't even know if you got your products and services priced right or packaged right, we cover all that in this Millionaire Mentorship program. So this is a 1-year coaching and consulting program. It gives me and my team at least 1 year to help you engineer $1 million business. I can do this in my sleep because I've done it for myself. I'm in the process right now of engineering a $10 million business, because that's what I want to get to next. And guess what? It's a lot of new things I'm learning. It's a lot of new strategies I got to implement. It's a lot of new systems, and there are things in my company now I got to restructure, that I'm restructuring in order to get to becoming a $10 million business. But if you ain't at $1 million and you have not engineered $1 million business, it's no different than you wanting to engineer a 15-story high-rise. Well, guess what? You can't look at the blueprint of a 1-story ranch or split foyer or 2-story house. You have to have people who can help show you how to actually engineer a 15-story building. So in this mentorship program, we give you 1 year access to our Millionaire Blueprint. This blueprint is literally an educational blueprint to show you how to set up your structure, how to integrate your systems, how to reconfigure your products and services, how to price them. We have courses on how to sell. We got scripts for you. We show you how to put together a sales process, marketing strategies. We show you how to create a general operating system in this Millionaire Blueprint. So this is an educational program. You can log into our university every day, watch a couple videos, learn these concepts, and put them to practice. We also give you VIP tickets to all of our workshops. So throughout this 1 year program, we have about 6 different 1-day events. Each of these 1-day events are designed to help you with the nuts and bolts of specific areas of your business that you got to structure. So we help you with your sales. We have a workshop on that, marketing, financials, operations, administration. We work with you. We even have a boot camp that we give you a VIP ticket to help you build your own coaching or consulting division in business if that's what you want to do. So if you've ever wanted to be an educator, if you ever wanted to take your intellectual property and the assets that you have and turn it into curriculum and courses, we show you how to do it. This program also offers you weekly coaching calls. So every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m., we host coaching calls, weekly live coaching calls. We deep dive, we answer questions, and we keep you in the loop. We also have concierges inside of our community to stay in touch with you. You can text and email and call them throughout the week if you have questions or if you run into something. And this whole entire program for 1 year is $3,500. I mean, come on. You ain't gonna find no business coaching program on the internet today. I look all the time. You will not find a business consulting and coaching program for $3,500 for 1 year and get all of what you're getting. Education, training, workshops, boot camps, and weekly calls, and the kind of support that you get. But guess what? If you cannot pay the whole $3,500 for the 1 year all in full, we also have payment plan options. All you have to do is look in the comments, and there's a number. My concierge have put a number in the comments with the word mentor. All you have to do is text the word mentor to that number, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have about the program or how the program can help you based on what you're doing or where you at. We'll answer all those questions. If you need a payment plan, because you might be ready to make that decision if you follow me on a regular basis, we can work out a payment plan for you. And for those of you, like some of you have already, for those of you that pay it in full, we added 2 bonuses. The 2 bonuses are, number one, we offer a free holding company or operating company. That means we'll set up a whole LLC for you absolutely free. We'll get your EIN number, your articles, we'll get your operating agreement drafted, whether it's for a holding company or operating company. We'll offer that to you for free, and a free coaching session. And that coaching session will be in person or via Zoom, and it will give me about an hour or so to sit down with you to look at what your financial goals are for the next year, at least while you're in the program. We'll look at what type of business structure you have or which type you need. We'll look at what systems and processes you need. We'll take a look at your products and services. Literally, I'll let the hood up on your business and your ideas to see what you're doing, what you want to do, and where you want to be a year from now, and how we need to put a game plan together and engineer that game plan to help you get there. I do this in my sleep. That's why I can say it like it ain't nothing. But again, if you have any questions, look in the comments, the word mentor. You can text to that number that you see that my concierges have put in, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions about our Millionaire Mentorship program. I hope y'all learned something today on these 3 things that I covered. For those of you that didn't, I want you to go back, rewatch the video. It was on, is it best to start a holding company? I said, yes, it is. If you want to build wealth, if you want to leverage your position as a CEO and asset manager, and yes, if you want to maximize your protection for your corporation, your production, and your purchasing power to get loans and funding. That's what we talked about today. I got a question over here on IG. Is there a deadline? And can I do this deal without actually starting the business? Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of people in our mentorship program, Sage. We have a lot of people in our mentorship program who are pre-revenue, they're pre-business, but they want to learn how to run the business that they plan on starting. So we have a lot of people who are pre-business revenue, they're pre-startup, but they want to do it the right way. And they realize that they have to engineer the right structure, familiarize themselves with how to operate that structure, how to manage it, run it. And that's what we teach. So absolutely. We have people who are on fixed incomes in our mentorship program, people who work W-2 jobs who are not yet entrepreneurs and business owners. We have ministers and pastors. Like, we got people all across the board because I've been all of them. I've been unemployed. I've been employed as a W-2. I'm a full-time investor. I'm a full-time business owner. I'm a full-time minister. So I've covered all spectrums. So the answer to you, Sage, on Instagram is yes, yes. And as far as the deadline, we don't have a specific deadline as to when the program ends. We've been talking about maybe closing it before the year is out. That's yet to be determined. I'm just one of those people that I keep it real and 100. If I wake up tomorrow and I feel like, you know what, we have enough people in this mentorship program, I'm going to close it and I'm going to just work with this group for another year, then it'll be announced. My team will shut it down. We'll send an email out and let everybody know. If we decide to extend it another year, we will send a message out to everybody. So it's not that I'm iffy or, I'm inconsistent or unstable. It's just that once I get to a place to where I feel like we have done our due diligence with a specific program or group of people, I'll just close it off and invest our time and effort to work with that group of people till we get them where they want. But as of today, we don't have a specific deadline like 12 o'clock tonight or by Friday noon. There's no deadline. But again, the sooner the better, because this is a special offer that we have extended. This is a $3,500 program for the year. And we've extended these two bonuses just for the past couple weeks because we've had people that joined us in our boot camp a month ago and they wanted to know if they had time to come back around. And we've had one or two people to reach back out to us and make the commitment and make the connection to take us up on the offer. So right now the offer still stands, but I don't know if this specific offer will continue on beyond this week. I don't know. But if you have any questions or if you just want to be in the loop so that my team can have you on their mind, take the number that you see in the comments and just text the word mentor. It's no commitment. It's not like we're going to take your money or force you to do something. You just text the word mentor. That just keeps you in the loop because my team knows if somebody texts a word that I mention on my live, they know how to categorize you. They know when you reached out and if you are part of that offer as opposed to somebody reaching out to us a month or a year from now. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the show. We will be back here tomorrow. Same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon, right here on the Ramonepreston Show. Don't forget to leave a comment. Give us your biggest takeaway. Give us some feedback. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Subscribe to my YouTube page. We're trying to get past 10,000 subscribers. So please go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube page. And take the number you see in the comments, text the word mentor to that number. I always tell people, don't let price become your barrier. Or another way of explaining it, don't let price become your prison. If you don't have the money today, it doesn't mean you're not going to have the money tomorrow. It costs to be the boss. You have to pay to play. And we all have to pay to play. I have coaches and mentors that I pay tens of thousands of dollars to be in their presence, to get their information, to learn from them, to be in the same room with them. And I have no problem with it because it inspires me, it motivates me, it educates me, it empowers me, it gives me confidence to do what I'm doing as a professional business owner as well. So don't let price be the problem. Take the word mentor, text it to the number you see in the comments so that my team can know, even if it's not today, that you want to take us up on helping you set up your holding company or help you with your systems or give you the support you need for some venture that you're working on. At least we have your name and number and information and we can stay connected to you. And when you come back around, we know you connected to us and reached out to us during the time that we had an offer available. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the show. We'll be back here, same place, same time, tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, right here on the Ramonepreston